Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment's FAMLI webinar. I'm Tracy Marshall, Division Director of CDLE's Division of Family and Medical Leave Insurance, and welcome to our 7th installment of our FAMLI Monthly webinar series. Today, I'm also joined by our Policy Manager, Evan Grimes. Evan and I will be guiding today's discussion on benefits and employer participation. So a couple of quick housekeeping items. As always, a copy of this presentation deck and the recording will be available on family.colorado.gov. There you can also find recordings of our previous webinars covering a variety of topics, including calculating premiums, local governments, and how to prepare your small business for FAMLI. Let's start with a quick recap of our FAMLI's history. So FAMLI was approved by Colorado voters in November of 2020 with a 57% bipartisan support. While Colorado was the 9th state in the country to establish such a program, it's so far the only state to pass paid family leave at the ballot box. There are now 11 states total, with Maryland and Delaware recently passing their own paid family leave initiatives. Quick reminder, FAMLI is a social insurance program with both employers and employees contributing to the fund that will eventually pay out benefits. The premiums are set to 0.9% of the employee's wage, with 0.45% paid by the employer and 0.45% paid by the employee. You can see here our timeline for the rollout of FAMLI. We've already started making some good progress on this. Our initial FAMLI rules were adopted in January of this year. This month, we have begun our formal public education campaign, and we're offering webinars, newsletters, and in-person town halls, in addition to a variety of educational resources through our website. Next January, you'll start to deduct premiums from employees and subsequently remit those payments along with wage data in the FAMLI system. Premium payments for the first quarter of 2023 will be due on April 30th of next year, and there will be a 30-day grace period. And then beginning on January 1st of 2024, covered workers will be able to submit their requests to FAMLI to take leave.
Next, I'd like to get into the benefits and the meat of the program. And I'd like to emphasize that we're still in the rulemaking process of finalizing these benefits rules. We'll get into how you can participate in the rulemaking process later in this presentation. So first, FAMLI will provide 12 weeks of paid leave for Colorado workers to take care of themselves and their loved ones. Those who experience birth or pregnancy complications may be eligible for an additional 4 weeks for a total of 16 weeks. Covered workers will be able to apply for family leave benefits during certain life events, like managing a serious health condition, caring for a new child, including adopted and foster children, making arrangements ahead of a military deployment, or to deal with the immediate needs and impacts arising from domestic partner violence or sexual assault. The program will cover almost all workers in Colorado, including those who are self-employed. Now, Colorado employees will become eligible to take paid leave after they have earned at least $2,500 in wages within the state over a 1-year period in either the employee's base period or alternative base period. Similar to unemployment insurance, the family base period is the first 4 of the last 5 completed calendar quarters immediately preceding the first day of the individual's benefit year. And the alternative base period is simply the last 4 completed calendar quarters immediately preceding the benefit year. And some clarifying definitions. First, starting with the term family member. Understanding that families are not always traditional, the division will determine familial relationships by looking to the totality of the circumstances by weighing non-dispositive factors, including but not limited to shared financial responsibilities, emergency contact designations, expectation of care created by the relationship, and cohabitation and geographical proximity. Now, a serious medical condition refers to an illness, injury, impairment, pregnancy, recovery from childbirth, or physical or mental condition that involves inpatient care in a hospital, hospice, or residential medical care facility, or continuing treatment by a healthcare provider. Now, caring for a new child refers to caring, bonding, and providing the basic needs of a child that is under the age of 18. The family benefit can be used once during the fostering and adopting of the same child. Finally, in regards to safe leave, the individual does not need to initially prove that they are the victim of a violent circumstance. Benefits may be awarded based on the victim's good faith attestation that the need for leave satisfies the elements of the offense.
As a voter-approved initiative, participation in FAMLI is required for most Colorado employers and employees, with the few notable exceptions of self-employed individuals, local government employers, and federal employees. All employers, including those who are self-employed and voluntarily want to participate, must register and create an account with the FAMLI division before the first payment is due. We will be deploying our online employer services portal, My FAMLI Plus Employer, later this fall with a phased approach. We'll be inviting employers to register in waves before opening up the system to all employers starting in January 2023. As we mentioned earlier, employers will need to start deducting the 0.45% family premiums from their employees' paychecks starting on January 1st of 2023. Employers will be responsible for submitting quarterly wage reports and remitting the full 0.9% of the premium to the FAMLI division starting at the end of the first quarter of 2023. Let's take a look at the payment schedule. We will be offering that 30-day grace period before Q1 payments are considered late. All other wage reports and payments will be due on the same schedule that's typical for unemployment insurance. And while employers can use the same wage reports filed for UI, you will need to file those wages separately within the FAMLI system. If an employer fails to submit wage reports and premium payments, the employer may face a fine up to $50 per employee whose wages are not reported. We encourage employers to start communicating with your employees this fall about the upcoming FAMLI premium deductions and subsequent FAMLI benefits that will become available in 2024. We have several resources available on our website to help you do this, including a break room poster, an HR fact sheet, a pay stub example, a local government fact sheet, and a premiums and benefits calculator that employees can use to estimate their deductions and the potential benefit payments. We are also producing a complete employer guide that will include sample language you can include in your employee handbooks and manuals that will be available to download in the near future. Again, we'd like to reiterate that our benefits rules have not been adopted yet. A complete copy of our proposed and adopted rules are currently published on our rules page of the website. We encourage all employers to provide comment on our proposed and adopted rules, either in writing or via our public comment hearings. Our next public hearing is set for next week, August 2nd of 2022 at 5 p.m. You can submit a public comment by emailing us at the email on the screen or by filling out the form on our rules page. We anticipate having our proposed private plan rules published very soon. Now we're going to go over some common questions we've received from employers. I'm going to have Evan help me to answer these. So Evan, how do out-of-state employees and remote workers factor into FAMLI?
So when it comes to localization, an employee is considered in Colorado and subject to FAMLI if, one, the employee's work is performed entirely within Colorado, or two, the employee performs work both within and outside of Colorado, but the work performed outside of Colorado is incidental, temporary, or transitory in nature, or three, the employee's work is not localized in any state, but some work is performed in Colorado, and one of the following two things is true. One, either the base of operations is in Colorado, or if there isn't a base of operations, then the place from which such services are directed or controlled is in Colorado, or two, the base of operations or place from which services are directed is not in any state in which part of the service is performed, but the individual's residence is in Colorado.
Thanks, Evan. How will I know when my employee files a FAMLI claim and when they are expected to return to work?
FAMLI requires employees to notify their employers within 30 days if the need for leave is foreseeable. And if the need for leave is not foreseeable, FAMLI requires employees to notify the employer as soon as practicable. The FAMLI division will also notify an employer when the employee files a claim and will provide information about the claim, including the duration of leave, the amount of benefits payments, and an expected return to work date.
Thanks, Evan. We want to hear from you. You can engage with us in a variety of ways. Our email address is listed here on the screen. You can also be kept alert of ongoing updates by following us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You can also subscribe to our newsletter on FAMLI at family.colorado.gov. Thank you once again so much for joining us for our July webinar.